call this Wednesday, February 16, 2022 meeting of the Mendocino County Civil Service Commission to order at 9 a.m. The first item on the agenda for the open session is roll call.
Commissioner Ebium, I apologize.
Here.
Commissioner Beth Michelle.
Here.
Commissioner Harden.
Here.
Chair Poposky.
Here. The second item on our agenda is the approval of minutes of the January 19th, 2022 commission meeting. Do we have a motion?
Before the motion, I'd like to make a small observation here. I think it should be a correction, and that is under the number 6 under classification studies, the first paragraph. It says, upon review, human resources determined that the two incumbents do perform a higher level of duties than, perhaps it should be legal secretary assistant rather than legal secretary 2, because
We're appointing and moving him up. Okay.
That, if I may, their correct classification was legal secretary 2. They were performing higher duties than legal secretary 2. I think that's what that should say.
Okay.
maybe due to performing, I see, maybe due to performing at a higher level. Is that what it means, Johnny? Okay.
Hold on. It's so ordered that the reclassification of 2 legal secretary assistants to legal secretary 2 as presented. So I agree with Marilyn, Johnny. I thought what we were doing was
You approved the reclassification of the 2 legal secretary 2s to legal secretary.
You're right.
Legal administrative assistant.
Right.
Okay, I see how. Okay, it's legal administrative.
Thank you.
Got it. Thank you, Johnny. Yeah. I know. Me too. I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking assistant because
I see assistant. On the it's the motion that's written. It's the motion that's written incorrectly in the minutes.
Oh, okay. That's where I got it.
It is
Thank
so
you,
ordered
Johnny.
that the reclassification of 2 legal secretary assistants to legal secretary 2. So those need to be flip-flopped. That's what needs to be corrected.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so then I'll move to accept the minutes as modified.
And I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of last month's meeting. Roll call.
Commissioner Beth Michelle.
Yes.
Commissioner Ebium.
Yes.
Commissioner Harden.
Yes.
Chair Poposky.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 3 is public expression. Is there anyone here to exercise their right to public expression? Doesn't sound like it. Everybody's here for business. Okay, then we will move on to the employee organization. I don't see Patrick here. So I have a feeling there is no one here from employee organization. And number 5, closed session. We do not have any closed session today. Everything's out in the open here. Okay, moving right along to number 6. We have 6A, classification, specification, modification for the Animal Control Officer series.
And that's Johnny will be presenting that item.
Yes, good morning. Thank you. Johnny Cranmer, Human Resources Manager. The animal control officers, which were moved from Animal Care Services to Mendocino County Sheriff's Office in 2009, have now transitioned back to Animal Care Services as of October 2021. Animal Care Services Director Richard Molinari has requested that the class specs be updated, including a title change to Animal Protection Officer. Human Resources has studied the changes requested by Director Molinari and supports the requested changes as well as the title changes. In addition to the suggested modifications to the classification specifications, Human Resources recommends that the Animal Control Officer in training and the Animal Control Officer be combined and retitled as Animal Protection Officer 1 and 2. The approval of these recommendations will result in title changes only for the current staff. I'm available if you have questions, and I'm not sure if Director Molinari is available if you have questions for him. But
I'm just curious as to what was behind the coming back away from the Sheriff's Department. What was in the works with that? I mean, 2009, it was there quite a long time.
In 2009, Animal Care was part of the Health and Human Services Agency.
Right.
So I don't know what drove the decisions back then to move them under the Sheriff's Office. And now that Animal Care is a standalone department, I don't know, what's driving them to come back to Animal Care. If Mr. Molinari is here, he may be able to answer that. But.
Okay, doesn't look like it.
Go on, Terry. I didn't know if
I was just going to say that, and obviously the name change to Protection Officer is like in keeping with the evolution of animal relations and humans. So.
Right. We're not finding that a lot of counties have necessarily changed their titles yet, but they may be. But you're right. That is, protection is more of the word these days rather than just control.
Well,
I guess we could have a motion on this.
Well, I have a couple of questions.
Okay,
Terry.
Marilyn.
I'm sorry. I just had a question on the requirement of the State Humane Officer Academy. I noticed that all three classifications, they got within 1 year of appointment to acquire this, and that seems strange to me as you moved up. So I was just wondering if is that normal. And
a few years ago, maybe in 2016, at the commission, we had quite a lively discussion about that resulted from an appeal of an applicant about the humane course. And at that time, what we learned is that some counties do not require the humane course. And so our MQ said you had to have the course, and people didn't qualify. And so the commission requested a classification spec that required them to get it within a certain amount. So that's where if they've been with Mendocino County for a year, they've had Mendocino County's training, and they can have the certificate within a year. But if they came from another county that did not require the humane certificate, but they had experience, then the commission's concern was that those people would likely qualify, but they needed the 40-hour humane course. So that's why that is like it is. That comes from that previous class spec change.
I remember that we had an applicant I think from Marin, who had been for a number of
Nothing,
years.
I
or
was
something.
trying to remember if
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
something, okay.
And
Thank
we
you,
were going,
Johnny.
they certainly could do the job, but they didn't have the certificates.
Except,
And-
so Marilyn and I must be on the same universe this meeting, because I had a similar question, but it related to the supervising animal protection officer, because we say that they perform the duties that is equivalent to Mendocino County's Animal Protection Officer 2, and that spec requires that they have the basic certificate. So why wouldn't we want our supervisor to have the certificate at the beginning of their tenure in that position?
I was just, I question that. Usually your entry level person has a year to acquire that. And then, as you go up, the stairs.
Well, again, the language that's in there now is what the commission approved in 2016 for them to get it within a year.
So what we're saying then is, if we hire a supervisor from, let's just say, Marin, and they aren't required to have the certificate, what we're saying is we want our supervisor to get the certificate within a year.
Yeah,
Okay.
if they had the qualifications of that's the equivalent of the 2, in 3 years worth in another agency,
Mhm.
3 years worth that is the equivalent of the 2, then they could essentially be deemed as qualified, and then would have to get that certificate within 1 year of appointment.
Okay.
And like I said, that's the language that was in the supervisor before. The only thing that's new is what's read on your class spec.
Right, I understand. Okay, that makes sense. And then what's that little asterisk? I kept trying to find it. Did I miss it? There's a little asterisk after that. What does that mean? I was looking for the asterisk.
Well, let me, because again, the asterisk was there already.
Yeah, I know, but I
So-
don't see it. I don't see it anywhere. So I think,
Right.
I think the 1 has been crossed out, Jenny. I don't know. Is that what that means? I don't know. I see it's
Well,
been.
I can't tell if it's been crossed out or not, but I think it should be crossed out.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
I will, I'll review the class spec really clearly, and if I don't find it, then I would say that we could remove it if that's
Okay.
the way your motion is, and if it ties to something, we can bring it back just as an update to March meeting. I mean, they can bring it back, HR can bring it back,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
All right. Yeah, and it's on the other. It's also on the 1 and 2, so it's on both of them. On the 1 and 2, the asterisk refers to upon recommendation of the sheriff, and it's been crossed out. So I think you just need to cross out the asterisk on both of them. See what I'm referring to, Johnny?
Right,
Under substitution on the 1 and 2.
yes. But because now it wouldn't be the sheriff that can recommend, it's the animal care director that can recommend.
Yeah.
So that asterisk, I believe, needs to stay because they need to have that. Well, I'll check into it to see if
Okay.
it's redundant or if it actually points to something.
So if it needs to stay, then we need to undelete and modify the upon recommendation of the animal control.
Oh, I
director.
just moved that up above.
Oh, I see. Got it.
Yeah, I moved it up above because it needed to be
Okay.
above this, and it does not have the asterisk in the
No, it does. Under substitution, it's got the
Oh, okay,
asterisk.
right. Okay. Well, I'll sift through it and maybe change the track changes so it's easier to read what's left
Yeah.
when you change the track changes.
Right. And if you have to put the upon recommendation, the asterisk definition from the 1 and 2 back into the supervisor, I don't think it needs to come back to us.
Okay.
So
I don't
why
either,
don't I make a motion that
Jenny, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I have one other
go? Go.
other correction, and that is under the supervising animal protection officer on page 13. And down under mental and physical abilities, down almost towards the end, we have one that says, while performing essential duties, more than 50 pounds, and then the next one says more than 100 pounds. So I'm confused, which one is it?
It probably should be, is regularly required to lift 50 pounds and occasionally required to lift 100. That's
Okay,
probably how that
so
should-
however those should be corrected,
Okay.
Johnny.
Yeah,
Because the other ones, there's one right above that says 50 pounds.
right, and it should say regularly, not occasionally.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
And
Okay,
then they're occasionally required to lift 100.
Okay.
okay, got it.
Okay,
Now,
Okay.
now for the motion.
Okay. We
So
move to,
could
we
we
move
get,
to, oh, go on, go, Terry.
could we get a motion to approve all 3 specs at once?
Yeah. I'll move to approve the Animal Protection Officer 1 and 2 specification and the Supervising Animal Protection Officer classification specification as modified.
Very good.
Okay, is there a second?
go ahead, Sherry.
I'll second.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to approve the classification, specification, modifications, and title change for the Animal Protection Officers 1 and 2 and Supervising Animal Protection Officer as presented, or I guess we've already done a little modifying. So roll call.
Commissioner Ebian,
Yes.
Commissioner Beth Michelle,
Yes.
Commissioner Harden,
Yes,
Chair Poplawski.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, so now we are at 6B, classification, specification, modification, agricultural technician and senior agricultural technician.
Okay, again, Johnny Cranmer, Human Resources Manager. You have before you today the class specification modifications of the agricultural technician and the senior agricultural technician. The Farm Advisor UCC extension has requested a minimum requirement for the agricultural technician be modified that the incumbent must obtain the applicator's certification within 12 months of hire. The requirement to possess the certification upon hire has hindered the department's ability to hire staff as they approach their busy time of year, which is spring and summer. The experience requirement of 2 to 3 years has been modified down to 2 years. And additionally, the classification is described as a lead worker when in fact it is not. So the task has been struck from the classification specification. With regard to the senior ag tech, the job summary has been updated to reflect that it is the lead worker status. And the minimum requirements have been changed from 2 to 3 years to 2 years. Possession of a valid driver's license has been added to both classification specs due to the fact that the job tasks include field work. And so similar to the planner we had a few months ago that they had to do field work, but their job didn't require a driver's license. And then lastly, the pesticide applicator certification has been modified on both classes to reflect the actual correct title of qualified applicator's certificate. The Farm Advisor is hopeful that modifying the certification requirements will result in filling their staffing needs before the busy season gets underway. Although there are likely other changes that could be made to update the class specs, the department will request a more extensive review and update of the class specs later if they find it necessary. But the important need right now is that they be able to fill positions before their season starts.
Okay, so could we get a motion to approve the agricultural technician and the senior agricultural technician?
Terry,
as modified?
can I just, I have a couple
Okay,
of things here, and I'm just, just questioning this. I noticed on the job specs that there was no, you know how we usually have under essential job functions, the next thing after that is supervision exercise, and then after that, examples of duties and essential job functions. I noticed that those two were not in there. Is there a reason? I don't know, maybe there's a reason.
Basically, Marilyn, this spec is in our old format.
Okay.
And in the event we update the entire spec later, we will update the format and do the supervision exercise. But again, the focus is on getting the minimum requirements changed to the extent that perhaps the department can fill some positions before their season gets underway, which is like right now. So that's why that. Also, I forgot to say that John Harper, your farm advisor, is here if you have any questions for him.
Nice to meet you all. Be happy to answer any questions about it.
all right, thank you for attending. Does anyone have
thank
any
you.
questions?
Yeah, I don't have questions, but I think that, yeah, the format difference bothered me too. So I don't know, it'd be good to bring it back and because I thought we were working towards getting all of our classification specs in the updated format.
That's correct, and we will.
Yeah.
But again,
Okay.
this came up literally as we were publishing the agenda last week, and we
Got it.
threw it in there to get it on this meeting rather than having to wait until April.
Got it. Okay, I'm fine.
And to be
Sure.
fair to HR, our last ag tech has been with us for 8 years. So it's not been, once we hire someone, they tend to stay with us for a real long time. And we're the only department that has the ag tech. It's kind of unique to the various educational research programs that the University of California Quality Extension does. So.
Great.
All right. I'm good.
Sherry, did you have
So
something?
I just had a really picayune question. Under the senior agricultural technician class specification at the bottom, minimum qualifications required, bachelor's degree or equivalent from an accredited college or university, and 4-year was crossed out. And I'm just curious why 4-year was crossed out.
Well, because colleges and universities are typically, a university is typically 4 years, and
Yeah.
the other one, excuse me, the other class spec actually said a 2-year college, but it's like, 2-year college, it's like we would care about an associate's degree, not whether it came from a 2-year college or a 4-year, but I think the assumption is that this needs to be an accredited college or university. And the 4-year part seemed a bit redundant to college and university.
So what would be equivalent to a bachelor's degree from a college or university?
If maybe you had approximately 124 units, which is approximately a bachelor's degree in all the right fields, but you didn't actually have the degree. Maybe you had all the coursework, but you hadn't actually graduated.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you don't have to have a degree then.
You have to have the equivalent of the degree.
But if you complete all that coursework but don't get your degree, is that the equivalent of a degree?
Yes. Yes.
Really?
And there's also the substitution where,
Can I add something to that?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
It's not only in relationship to this specific position. Obviously, in other forms of employment, if the degree is required, the degree is required. But because they're working for advisors who have at minimum a master's degree and PhD, we're trying to get somebody who has the coursework that can relate to the types of things that we will have them be doing. So, for example, basic coursework in statistics is really a plus for us. Basic coursework in geographic information systems is important to us. And so it's in that kind of nice to have kind of thing. So, but they do not have to have the actual bachelor's degree, except that we kind of put that in for the senior ag tech, definitely not the beginning one.
So they could have a certain amount of coursework as it pertains to this position, and not have received a bachelor's degree, and that's the equivalent.
It could be, now I don't know how HR would handle this, but we would normally want copies of transcripts to see what coursework are official, and then we could we would make an exception if it worked under your guys' rules, and so we would like to see those people, but if we could see their transcripts, we could certainly pick out people. Wow, they've got the kind of coursework that they'll be successful in. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that kind of discussion would be part of what comes about if the farm advisor UCC extension determines that they do want to request a classification update and review. Those kinds of things would be fleshed out. Because right now it has said, since 2000, when the commission adopted this class spec, a bachelor's degree or equivalent. We didn't change that.
Right.
Okay, so can we get a motion to approve these two specs, the agricultural technician and the senior agricultural technician?
Also moved, Terry.
Okay, it's second.
Second.
Okay, Sherry seconds. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to approve the agricultural technician and senior agricultural technician specifications as modified. Roll call.
Commissioner Harden,
Yes.
Commissioner Beth Michelle,
Yes.
Commissioner Evian,
Yes.
Chair Poplawski.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you all for the important work you do. Appreciate it.
All right.
Get busy, hopefully.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Enjoy your day.
Have
Bye.
a good one, John.
Thank you.
Now that takes us to number 7, other business. Is there anyone with other business? Doesn't sound like it. So we get the Human Resources Director report.
Yes, William Schertz here, HR manager. A very short report. I just wanted to let you know that the HR department is fully staffed now with managers, analysts, and technicians. And so we're in the process of training up the new folks into their jobs. We do still have a vacancy for the HR director, and we are continuing with the search, and we have had a few interviews just recently. So things are looking up along those lines. It is very difficult to find really just about any position these days to recruit for, be successfully recruiting any position. So we're really happy to see that we have some qualified candidates that we're considering. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you.
Do you have a target date in mind as to when you would like the director position filled? Is it ASAP, or do you actually have a date?
No, it is ASAP. If we can find somebody that would be able to start right away, we would jump on it right then and there. So yeah, absolutely.
Great, thank you.
And that's the end of the HR director's report.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for your time.
And I would just have one word at final parting, and we wish Johnny the best of luck too, Johnny.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll second
Enjoyed
that.
working.
Roll call.
Roll call, unanimous, yay.
Yay.
Yeah, Johnny, good luck
Yes.
to you. And we'd love to see you on the commission after, what is it, a year or whatever.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
That's it.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
well, enjoy and everyone have a good day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rainless
Bye, Johnny. Good
Bye,
seeing you.
Johnny, bye.
Bye, Johnny.
Okay, I will now adjourn this session of the Civil Service Commission at 9:31.